The Brooklyn Nets and Los Angeles Lakers have held preliminary discussions on the Kyrie Irving trade, and sources indicate the teams are exploring the potential of pulling none other than the San Antonio Spurs of Greg Popovich into a multi-team deal. The Lakers, whose sources indicated are interested in moving out Russell Westbrook into Irving, may need to be patient. Westbrook's $47 million expiring contract isn't appealing to the Nets, who currently project to be above the league's $150 million luxury tax threshold. League sources stress that Brooklyn views resolving Kevin Durant's trade request as a significantly higher priority than clearing Irving's final $36 million contract off the Nets' books. But the Irving-Westbrook disaster could eventually be resolved with the Spurs' help, with San Antonio taking on Westbrook's salary into cap room for draft considerations that would help the Nets generate a massive trade exception for as much as Irving's entire salary. If, and that's a big if the Lakers are going to give up value to get Irving, the team needs resolution with James on his expiring contract. Ideally, James and Irving via extended trade would commit through 2024-2025 that would coincide with the end of Anthony Davis's deal, although both could go 1 year prior with necessary protection, but that pick's availability in a two-team trade would likely depend on who else the Nets send with Irving to match salary. Expanded to a three-way deal, the Spurs would also need to clear additional salary for Westbrook, leaving out Curry and Harris. The Lakers could land either Doug McDermott, who is owed $27.5 million over the next two seasons, or Josh Richardson, who has an expiring contract of $12 million from San Antonio, with the Spurs trading Derek White to the Boston Celtics before the February trade deadline, and now DeJounte Murray to the Atlanta Hawks. The franchise is believed to be fully committed to rebuilding. Teams consider veterans like Jakob Polt, McDermott, and Richardson to be available. Westbrook wouldn't appeal to the Spurs and would presumably take a buyout for at least the minimum he could get with another franchise. That could expand to include both Richardson and McDermott to the Los Angeles Lakers and provide LA included either Kendrick Nunn or Talen Horton-Tucker. The Lakers would have more interest in Richardson than McDermott. Meanwhile, the Nets have no obligation to honor Durant's trade request and no requirement to deal Irving either. But Brooklyn may have an opportunity with the Lakers and Spurs that may not be available for long. San Antonio will and should be greedy for facilitating a deal, provided all three teams can agree. If not, the Spurs may find other teams looking to take advantage of its cap space, further limiting the Nets' flexibility in dumping Kyrie's salary.